The space between galaxies was darker than anything the human crew had ever seen. No stars, no planets, no light, except for the faint glow from their ship's engines. The indomitable spirit flew through an endless void toward a destination that might not even exist. How much further to the nexus point? Captain Nam Tai-jin asked. Navigator Dr. Han Soo-jin checked her calculations for the 100th time. According to the math, we should be there now, but I'm not detecting anything. Maybe the calculations were wrong, suggested Communications Officer O.J.1. Dr. Shin Dong-hyun was monitoring the ship's sensors. Wait, I'm picking up something strange. The dark matter density is increasing, but there's a pattern to it. Captain Nam studied the sensor readings. The dark matter was swirling in complex spirals like a galaxy made of invisible substance. At the center of the spiral was something that hurt to look at directly. There, Dr. Han Soo-jin said quietly. That's it, the quantum nexus. The thing at the center of the dark matter spiral was not really a thing at all. It was more like a hole in reality, a point where the normal laws of physics stopped working. But it pulsed with energy that made the humans' teeth ache and their vision blur. I'm detecting massive quantum entanglement activity, reported the ship's AI. This nexus is coordinating consciousness across multiple galaxies simultaneously. Back at the last sanctuary, the battle had already begun. The Void Devourers attacked like living shadows, flowing around the station's shields and consuming energy directly from its power systems. Commander Velandra watched as human-modified weapons fired at the attackers. The matter phase cannons struck targets that existed in multiple dimensions, while biological computers enhanced with human chaos logic predicted enemy movements in ways that defied mathematical logic. The human modifications are working, she reported to the other alien commanders. Our weapons are actually damaging them. But not fast enough, warned Hive Speaker Tesklick. They are adapting to our tactics. On the indomitable spirit, Captain E. Nam received updates from the battle. How long can the sanctuary hold out? Maybe an hour, came Commander Velandra's voice over the communication system. That's not enough time. We need to create a diversion. Dr. Shin Dong-hyun had an idea. Captain, what if we don't wait for the perfect moment to attack the nexus? What if we make some noise first? Explain. The nexus is coordinating void devourers across multiple galaxies. If we attack it directly, even if we fail, it might disrupt their communications long enough for the sanctuary to launch a counterattack. Captain Nam made the decision. Do it. Target the nexus with everything we have. The indomitable spirit opened fire on the quantum nexus with weapons that should not have worked. Human-built fusion cannons fired energy patterns copied from alien technology. Matter-phase torpedoes struck targets that existed in several dimensions at once. The effect was immediate and terrifying. The nexus began to pulse erratically, sending waves of distorted energy throughout the dark matter spiral. In multiple galaxies, void devourers suddenly stopped their coordinated attacks and began moving randomly. It's working, shouted Dr. O.J.1. The sanctuary reports that the void devourers have lost formation. They're attacking each other. But the victory was short-lived. The nexus was adapting, learning to compensate for the damage. Within minutes, the void devourers were coordinated again, and now they were angry. Captain, Dr. Han Soo-jin said urgently, something is coming toward us, something big. Through the darkness came a void devourer unlike any they had seen in the records. It was massive, ancient, and clearly the leader of its kind. As it approached, reality itself seemed to bend around it. That must be the core consciousness, Dr. Shin Dong-hyun said. The central mind that controls the nexus. The creature attacked, the indomitable spirit directly, not with weapons but with pure will. The ship's hull began to crack as the void devourer tried to consume it from the inside out. Hull breach on Deck 3, reported the damage control officer. Engines failing, added the chief engineer. Captain Nam realized they had one chance left. The weapon that Dr. Choi Jin-ai had designed was not just a bomb, it was a virus, a pattern of pure chaos that could introduce fatal contradictions into any quantum consciousness system. We have to get the weapon directly into the nexus, he told his crew. That means flying the ship into it, Dr. Han Sujin said. We won't survive. No, the crew looked at each other. They had known this was a suicide mission from the beginning, but now the moment was here. Any objections? Captain Nam asked. Just one, said Dr. O. Jaewon. I think we should go faster. The indomitable spirit turned toward the Nexus and accelerated. The ancient Void Devourer tried to stop them, wrapping tentacles of living darkness around their ship. But human engineering had built the ship to be tough, not elegant. Hull at 50%, reported damage control. 30%. 20%. The ship reached the edge of the Nexus. Reality became strange and fluid. The crew saw impossible colors and heard sounds that had no source. Deploy the weapon, Captain Nam ordered. Dr. Shin Dong-hyun activated Dr. Choi Jin-ae's chaos virus. The weapon spread through the Nexus like digital fire, introducing random elements into the quantum consciousness that had controlled the Void Devourers for millions of years. The effect was catastrophic. The Nexus began to collapse, taking the space around it down with it. The ancient Void Devourer that had been attacking them suddenly stopped, its consciousness fragmenting as the Nexus failed. Across multiple galaxies, Void Devourers stopped their attacks and began consuming each other, their coordination completely destroyed. It worked, Captain Nam said as the ship was pulled into the collapsing Nexus. We actually did it. The last thing the crew of the indomitable spirit saw was a message from Earth. Dr. Kim Dae-ho's face appeared on the communication screen. Captain Nam, the Void Devourers around Earth have stopped attacking. They're retreating. You did it. You saved us all. The Nexus collapsed completely, taking the indomitable spirit with it. But the chaos virus had already spread throughout the quantum network. Void Devourers throughout the galaxy lost their ability to coordinate. Their collective consciousness shattered into millions of confused fragments. 3 months later, the last sanctuary received a message from Earth. The planet had survived. Humanity was building new ships exploring the galaxy and establishing contact with other species. Commander Valandra stood in the station's memorial hall, looking at a new plaque that honored the crew of the indomitable spirit. The other alien species had voted unanimously to include it. They were so primitive, said Hive speaker Tzexklik. Their technology was crude, their methods were chaotic. Yes, Valandra agreed. But they did what none of us could do. They refused to accept defeat. A year later, the first human alien defense academy opened on Earth. Young humans and aliens trained together, learning that the greatest weapon against impossible odds was not advanced technology, but the courage to try when everyone else had given up. Dr. Kim Dae-ho, now elderly but still working, gave the opening address to the first class of students. The signal we received was not meant for humanity, he said. We were too primitive, too backward to understand it properly. But we responded anyway because that's what humans do. When someone calls for help, we answer, even if the call wasn't meant for us. The students, human and alien together, applauded as ships from a dozen species patrolled the space around Earth. The galaxy was safe, not because the most advanced species had protected it, but because the most stubborn one had refused to let it die. In the empty space between galaxies, where the Nexus had been, there was now only silence. The Void Devourers were gone, not destroyed but scattered, their collective consciousness broken beyond repair. And somewhere in that darkness, the wreckage of a small, tough ship called the Indomitable Spirit drifted among the stars, carrying with it the message that humanity had sent to the universe. We may be primitive, we may be chaotic, but we never give up. The signal had not been meant for humans, but they had come anyway, and that had made all the difference. The last sanctuary had never seen anything like it. For the first time in 50,000 years, the massive station was preparing for war instead of hiding from it. Commander Valandra watched as human engineers worked alongside Zephyrian scientists in the weapon laboratories. The humans were adapting alien technology in ways that should have been impossible. "Show me again how this works," said Dr. Shin Dong-hyun to a Zephyrian technician. "The matter phase cannon exists in multiple dimensions simultaneously," the alien explained. It can strike targets that are not physically present in normal space. Donghyun nodded and started sketching modifications on his tablet. What if we reversed the polarity and made the weapon exist in time as well as space? Could we hit something before it actually arrived? The Zephyrian technician stared at him. That is theoretically possible, but the power requirements would be enormous. How enormous? You would need the power output of a small star. Donghyun grinned. We'll figure something out. In another part of the station, Dr. Park So-young was working with Hive speaker Tzxclick. The insect creature's people had developed biological computers that could think faster than any mechanical system. Your species' brain patterns are very unusual, Tzxclick said, studying scans of human neural activity. Most intelligent species develop linear, logical thought processes. Humans seem to use chaos and random connections. Is that bad? So-young asked. Not bad, different, and perhaps useful. Our biological computers are too logical, too predictable. But human thought patterns might introduce the unpredictability needed to confuse Void Devourer defenses. So-young had an idea. What if we connected human brains directly to your biological computers? Could that create a hybrid system? Tzxclick's heads turned to look at each other, which was how the insect species showed excitement. That might work, but it would be dangerous for the human volunteers. We'll find volunteers, So-young said confidently. Meanwhile, Captain Nam Tae-jin was learning about Void Devourer tactics from the station's ancient records. The enemy was unlike anything in human experience. They did not use ships or weapons in any traditional sense. Instead, they were living darkness that consumed energy directly from matter itself. They have no central command structure that we can detect, explained the golden-scaled lizard creature called researcher Vextar. Each Void Devourer seems to act independently, but they coordinate perfectly across vast distances. How do they coordinate without communication? Captain Nam asked. We believe they share a collective consciousness, Vextar replied. Think of them as fingers on the same hand. Each finger can move independently, but they are all controlled by the same brain. Dr. Bae Young-sik, who had been listening quietly, suddenly looked excited. Where is this brain located? We don't know. The progenitors searched for 50,000 years and never found it. Young-sik turned to Captain Nam. Sir, what if the brain isn't a place? What if it's a process? Explain. Every computer system has a central processor that coordinates all its functions. If the Void Devourers share consciousness, there must be some kind of quantum nexus that allows them to communicate instantly across galactic distances. Researcher Vextar's golden scales rippled with surprise. You think their collective consciousness is based on quantum entanglement? It's the only thing that makes sense, Young-sik said. And if we can find that nexus, we can disrupt it, Captain Nam finished. Cut off the fingers from the brain. Communications Officer O.J. Wan had been monitoring the situation at Earth. The news was not good. Captain, the Void Devourers have destroyed Mars. Earth's defense fleet is falling back to protect the homeworld, but they're taking heavy losses. How much time do we have? Maybe 3 months before Earth is completely surrounded. Captain Nam made a decision. We need to move faster. Velandra, how quickly can your people modify our ship with your phase technology? 2 weeks, minimum. The Crystal Commander replied. We don't have 2 weeks, do it in 1, that's impossible. Dr. Shin Dong-hyun looked up from his work. No, it's not. We'll work around the clock. Humans don't need as much rest as most species. And they did work around the clock. Human engineers learned to operate Zephyrian matter phase equipment. Alien scientists studied human chaos logic patterns. The insect species grew new biological computers designed to interface with human brains. Dr. Kim So-ra was coordinating the battle plan. She had studied every record of Void Devourer attacks and found a pattern that the aliens had missed. They're not random, she explained to the assembled commanders. Look at the timing of their attacks. They always start feeding during specific cosmic events, when galaxies are aligned in certain ways. Commander Velandra studied So-ra's data. You think their quantum nexus is stronger during these alignments? Exactly. And that means it's also more vulnerable. If we time our attack right, we might be able to overload their collective consciousness. But they needed more than good timing. They needed a weapon that could affect quantum-level processes across galactic distances. The solution came from an unexpected source. Dr. Choi Jin-ae back on Earth had continued working on the fusion technology from the alien signal. She contacted the indomitable spirit with an incredible discovery. I've figured out how to create a cascade failure in quantum entanglement systems. Her voice crackled over the long-distance communication. But I need you to deliver the weapon directly to their nexus point. Where is the nexus point? Captain Nam asked. According to my calculations, it's located in the space between galaxies, where the dark matter is densest. It's been hiding there for millions of years. Dr. Lee Hyunwoo, who was also on the communication link from Earth, added more details. The weapon won't destroy the Void Devourers directly. Instead, it will introduce chaos into their quantum consciousness. They'll lose the ability to coordinate their attacks. Will that stop them? Asked Dr. Bae Young-sik. We don't know, Hyunwoo admitted. But it's the best chance we have. The plan was insane, even by human standards. They would use the last sanctuary as a massive weapons platform, equipped with matter phase cannons and biological computers enhanced with human chaos logic. Meanwhile, a strike team would take the modified indomitable spirit directly to the Void Devourer Nexus. Who will lead the strike team? Commander Velandra asked. I will, Captain Nam said immediately. And I'll navigate, added Dr. Han Soo-jin. I'll handle communications, said Oh-jae-won. I'll manage the weapon systems, volunteered Dr. Shin Dong-hyun. One by one, the entire human crew volunteered for what everyone knew was a suicide mission. Even if they succeeded in disrupting the Void Devourer Nexus, they would be trapped in the space between galaxies with no way to return home. Commander Velandra's crystal skin shifted through multiple colors as she processed this information. Your entire species is insane. Probably, Captain Nam agreed. But we're the kind of insane that might actually work. The alien species had spent 50,000 years running from the Void Devourers. Now they were going to trust their survival to a species that had been traveling in space for less than a century. As the modifications to the indomitable spirit neared completion, sensors detected new movement in space. The Void Devourers had found the last sanctuary. How long until they arrived, Captain Nam asked. 6 hours, reported the sensor operator. Are the modifications complete? Close enough, Dr. Shin Dong-hyun reported. The ship will fly and the weapons will fire. I can't guarantee anything beyond that. Captain Nam looked around the bridge at his crew. They were about to face an enemy that had destroyed the most advanced civilization in galactic history. Their ship was held together, with alien technology they barely understood. Their plan was based on theories that might be completely wrong. Any regrets? He asked his crew. Just one, replied Communications Officer Oh-jae-won. I wish we had time to say goodbye to Earth properly. We'll say goodbye by winning, Captain Nam said firmly. The indomitable spirit undocked from the last sanctuary and flew toward the approaching darkness. Behind them, the ancient station powered up weapons that had not been used in 50,000 years. The final battle for the galaxy was about to begin. The indomitable spirit dropped out of faster-than-light travel with a sound like thunder. Captain Nam Tae-jin gripped his chair as the ship shook and the lights flickered. Status report, he called out. All systems working, reported the engineer. We've arrived at the coordinates from the alien signal. Captain Nam looked at the main screen and felt his breath catch in his throat. In front of them was the largest structure he had ever seen. It was a space station, but it was bigger than Earth's moon. Strange lights pulsed along its surface and it was clearly very old. My God, whispered Dr. Bae Young-sik. How is something that big even possible? Navigator Dr. Han Soo-jin was studying her instruments. Captain, I'm detecting multiple life signs on that station. Different species. Lots of them. Are they friendly? Captain Nam asked. Unknown, sir, but they're definitely watching us. Communications, Officer O.J. Wan was trying to contact the station using Dr. Yoon Minho's translation system. I'm getting responses in multiple languages. The translation system is working, but barely. What are they saying? Most of them are asking what we are and where we came from. But Captain, some of them sounded surprised, like they weren't expecting anyone to show up. Dr. Kim So-ra, the mission strategist, studied the sensor readings. This station is ancient. It's been here for thousands of years, but it's still functioning. Permission to dock? Came a voice over the communication system. The translator turned the alien words into English, but the voice sounded mechanical and cold. Captain Nam made a decision. Tell them yes. We're here, to help. The docking process took 2 hours. The alien station had to modify one of its docking ports to fit the human ship. When the airlock finally opened, Captain Nam led a small team onto the station. The first alien they met was tall and thin, with skin that looked like blue crystal. She had 4 arms and eyes that glowed with their own light. Behind her stood other creatures that looked nothing like humans or each other. I am Commander Valandra of the Zephyrians, the crystal alien said through the translator. You are the species that built the primitive vessel? Dr. Bae Young-sik stepped forward. He had studied the psychology of first contact for years. I am Dr. Bae Young-sik representing humanity. We received your signal and came to help. Commander Valandra's crystal skin changed from blue to purple. Our signal? We sent no signal. To your species. Not your signal, Captain Nam said. The progenitor signal. The warning about the void devourers. All the aliens in the room suddenly became very quiet. A creature that looked like a giant insect with multiple heads spoke up. You understood the progenitor message? Parts of it, Dr. Kim So-ra replied. Enough to know that something terrible is coming, and enough to know where to find you. The insect creatures' heads turned to look at each other. I am Hive Speaker TX Click. My people have guarded this station for 10,000 years. The progenitor message was meant only for advanced civilizations. Well, we got it anyway, said Dr. Shin Dong-hyun, and we came to help. Commander Valandra led them deeper into the station. The corridors were huge, designed for creatures much larger than humans. The walls were covered with writings and symbols from dozens of different cultures. This is the last sanctuary, Valandra explained. The progenitors built it as a refuge during their war with the void devourers. When they lost the war, survivors from many species came here to hide. How many species are here? Captain Nam asked. 12, including yours now. But Captain, your species should not be here. This station was built for civilizations that could travel between galaxies and manipulate matter at the atomic level. Your technology is primitive. Finished, Dr. Bae Young-sik. Yes, we know, but we came anyway. They entered a vast central chamber where representatives from the different species were gathering. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange that the humans had trouble understanding what they were looking at. A creature made of what looked like glowing gas spoke without moving. The translator struggled to convert its thoughts into words. The humans should leave. They will contaminate the sanctuary. Contaminate how? Asked Dr. Kim So-ra. Your species is violent and unpredictable, the gas creature replied. You will disturb the balance we have maintained for millennia. Hive Speaker TX Click's multiple heads nodded in agreement. The humans cannot contribute to our cause. They lack the technology and wisdom necessary. Captain Nam felt his temper rising, but Dr. Bae Young-sik put a hand on his arm. Let me handle this. Young-sik stepped into the center of the chamber. You're right. We are primitive compared to you. Our weapons are crude, our ships are slow, and we've only been traveling in space for a few decades. The alien representatives seemed satisfied with this admission. But, Young-sik continued, we're here. When you received the progenitor warning, what did you do? Commander Valandra's skin color shifted uncomfortably. We analyzed it. We determined it was an ancient message with no current relevance. And when you realized the void devourers were returning, we prepared our defenses, said a lizard-like creature with golden scales. We strengthened the sanctuary's shields and weapons. Young Sik nodded. So you hid. You made your bunker stronger and hoped the enemy would pass you by. It is the logical response, the gas creature said defensively. Maybe, young Sik replied. But we didn't hide. We built a ship from technology we barely understood and flew across the galaxy to find you. Why do you think we did that? The chamber fell silent. Communications Officer OJ1 had been monitoring Earth's communications during the journey. Now he spoke up. Captain, I'm receiving urgent messages from Earth. What's the situation? OJ1's face was pale. The Void Devourers have reached our solar system. 3 of our outer colonies have gone dark. Jupiter's moons are showing energy readings consistent with the Devourer attack patterns we found in the progenitor records. The alien representatives looked at each other nervously. How long until they reach Earth? Captain Nam asked. Based on their current movement pattern, maybe 6 months. Dr. Kim Sora turned to address the aliens. This is why we're here. Not to hide in your sanctuary, but to fight back. Fight back? Commander Velandra's voice was shocked. The Void Devourers destroyed the progenitors, the most advanced civilization in galactic history. What makes you think your primitive species can succeed where they failed? Dr. Shin Dong-hyun smiled grimly. Because we don't know any better. The statement was so unexpected that even the translator seemed confused. Explain, demanded Hive Speaker TX Click. Captain Nam stepped forward. Every species in this room is more advanced than humanity. You have better weapons, faster ships, more knowledge. But you all have one thing in common. You've given up. We have not given up, the Golden Lizard protested. We have survived. Survival and victory are different things, Dr. Bae Young-sik said quietly. You've all been running and hiding for so long that you've forgotten how to fight. The Void Devourers cannot be fought, Commander Velandra said. They are a force of nature like a storm or an earthquake. Maybe, Captain Nam replied. But we're going to try anyway. OJ1 interrupted again. Captain, I'm getting more reports from Earth. Human ships are engaging the Void Devourers near Saturn. They're not running away, sir. How are they doing? Not well, but they're learning. Each engagement teaches them something new about the enemy. Dr. Kim Sora turned to the alien assembly. That's the difference between humans and the rest of you. When we encounter something impossible, we don't spend 50,000 years analyzing it. We attack it and see what happens. That is foolish, the gas creature said. Maybe, Sora replied. But it's also the only plan that has any chance of working. The chamber erupted in arguments as the different species debated among themselves. Some thought the humans were insane. Others began to wonder if insanity might be exactly what they needed. Commander Velandra approached Captain Nam privately. Your species truly intends to fight the Void Devourers directly. We don't have a choice, Nam replied. They're coming for Earth whether we fight or not. At least this way we die trying. Velandra's crystal skin shifted through several colors as she thought. What would you need from us? Your technology, your knowledge, and your help. In return, we'll do what you've forgotten how to do. Which is? Captain Nam smiled. We'll be the ones who charge into battle while you provide fire support. For the first time in thousands of years, Commander Velandra found herself considering the possibility that running and hiding might not be the only option after all. 6 months had passed since the first signal. The small research team had grown into something much bigger. Scientists from all over Earth had joined the project. They called it the Signal Project, but everyone knew it was really humanity's attempt to understand something far beyond their knowledge. Dr. Choi Jin-ae had not slept properly in weeks. She was an engineer who worked with fusion power, the same energy that made stars burn. The signal contained energy patterns that seemed impossible, but Jin-ae was determined to figure them out. Show me the pattern again, she said to her assistant. The computer displayed strange waves of energy that pulsed and twisted in ways that should not exist. According to human physics, this kind of energy would tear apart anything it touched. But the signal suggested it could be controlled and used. Jin-ae had been trying to copy these energy patterns in her laboratory. So far, she had destroyed 12. experimental reactors, and nearly blown up the building 3 times. But each failure taught her something new. "Doctor, maybe we should take a break," her assistant suggested. "No," Ginny said firmly. "People are counting on us." She was right. The Signal Project had discovered something terrible in the message. Hidden in the mathematics and star charts was a countdown. Something was coming to Earth, and it would arrive in less than 2 years. Dr. Yoon Min-ho worked in a different part of the building. He was trying to understand the language parts of the alien message. The signal contained what looked like translation codes, ways for different species to talk to each other, even if they had never met before. "This is genius," Min-ho said to himself as he studied the patterns. They used mathematical constants that any intelligent species would recognize, then built a language system on top of that. Min-ho's job was to create a translator that could turn alien words into human language and human words into something aliens might understand. It was like building a bridge between minds that had never touched. While Min-ho worked on communication and Jin-A worked on energy, the government had started a secret project. They were going to build a spaceship using the blueprints hidden in the alien signal. Captain Nam Tae-jin stood in the construction hangar and looked up at the massive ship, taking shape above him. It was ugly compared to the sleek spaceships in movies. This ship was built for war with thick armor and weapons that the humans barely understood. "How long until it's ready?" asked the general who supervised the project. 3 months, if nothing goes wrong," Captain Nam replied. "But sir, we're building this ship with technology we don't really understand. We don't even know if the engines will work." The general nodded. "I know, Captain, but it's the best chance we have." The ship was being built in secret, but the best scientists on Earth were working on different parts of it. They called it the indomitable spirit, because that's what humanity needed most, a spirit that refused to give up. Dr. Han Soo-jin was one of the people working on the ship. She was an expert in navigation, figuring out how to get from one place in space to another. But this ship would need to travel farther than any human had ever gone. "The coordinates in the signal point to a location outside our galaxy," she explained to Captain Nam. "Even with the new engines, it will take months to get there." "Will we have enough supplies for a journey that long?" the captain asked. Soo-jin checked her calculations again. "If we carry minimal crew and maximum supplies, yes, but it will be dangerous. We'll be traveling through space that no human has ever seen." While the ship was being built, Dr. Lee Hyun-woo had been working on the scariest part of the alien message. Buried deep in the signal were records of an ancient war, a war between the progenitors and something else, something that destroyed entire solar systems. They called them void devourers, Hyun-woo explained to the other scientists during their daily meeting. According to these records, they appear every 50,000 years, destroy everything they find, then disappear again. Dr. Park So-young raised her hand. "How do they destroy solar systems?" Hyun-woo showed them images he had decoded from the signal. The pictures were hard to understand, but they showed stars going dark and planets cracking apart. "They seemed to consume energy directly from stars," he said. "Once they drain a star, everything in that solar system dies." Dr. Kim Dae-ho, who had first discovered the signal, asked the question everyone was thinking. "When will they reach Earth?" Hyun-woo's face was pale. Based on the countdown in the message, less than 18 months. The room fell silent. 18 months to save the entire human race. Back in her laboratory, Dr. Choi Jin-A finally had a breakthrough. She had been trying to recreate the energy patterns from the alien signal for months. This time, instead of trying to control the energy, she let it do what it wanted to do. The reaction was incredible. For just a moment, a small piece of matter in her laboratory seemed to disappear and reappear in a different location. She had created the first human faster-than-light travel experiment. "It works," she shouted, running through the building to tell the others. "The alien engine design actually works." Within days, Jin-A's discovery was installed in the indomitable spirit. The ship now had engines that could travel faster than light, weapons that fired pure energy, and shields that could bend space itself. But the ship needed a crew. Captain Nam Tae-jin asked for volunteers. knowing that anyone who went on this mission might never return to Earth. 200 people volunteered immediately. Dr. Bae Young-sik was one of the volunteers. He studied how different species think and behave. If humans met aliens, Young-sik would help them understand each other. "Why are you volunteering for this mission?" Captain Nam asked during the interview. Young-sik thought for a moment. "Because someone needs to represent humanity out there, and because I believe that humans have something special to offer the galaxy." "What's that?" "We don't give up," Young-sik said simply. Communications Officer Oh Jae-won also volunteered. His job would be to use Dr. Yoon Min-ho's translation system to talk with any aliens they met. "The translator is still experimental," Min-ho warned him. "It might not work perfectly." "That's okay," Jae-won replied. "I'm good at understanding people even when they don't speak clearly." Dr. Kim So-ra was chosen as the mission strategist. Her job was to figure out what to do when they reach the coordinates from the alien signal. "We don't know what we'll find there," Captain Nam told her. "That's what makes it interesting," So-ra replied. The ship also carried Dr. Shin Dong-hyun, an engineer who could fix or modify alien technology. If they found advanced machines, Dong-hyun would figure out how to use them. As the launch date approached, the team made a disturbing discovery. Long-range telescopes had detected something moving in space, far beyond the edge of the solar system. Something dark that blocked out stars as it moved. "It's them," Dr. Hyunwoo said quietly. "The Void Devourers are already here." The creatures were still far away, but they were definitely heading toward Earth. The countdown in the alien signal had been accurate. "How long do we have?" Captain Nam asked. "Maybe a year," Hyunwoo replied. "Maybe less." The Indomitable Spirit launched 3 days later. As the ship disappeared into space, the people of Earth watched and hoped. They had built their ship from alien blueprints they barely understood. They were flying toward an unknown destination to face an enemy that had destroyed the most advanced civilization in galactic history. But they were going anyway, because that's what humans did. When faced with impossible odds, they tried anyway. The ship's AI, programmed with every piece of data humanity had gathered from the alien signal, spoke to the crew as they traveled through space. "Destination reached in 67 days, the AI announced in a calm voice. "Probability of mission success, unknown." Captain Nam smiled grimly. "Unknown is better than impossible. At least unknown gives us a chance." Behind them, Earth continued to spin in space, unaware that its fate now depended on 200 humans, flying a ship built from alien mathematics toward a rendezvous with destiny. The space station floated in the darkness like a metal flower. Dr. Kale Noxtar pressed his 6 hands against the viewing window and watched the red star die. The star had been burning for billions of years, but now it was running out of fuel. Soon it would collapse and take the research station with it. Kale did not care about the dying star. He cared about the strange sounds coming from his equipment. For 3 days, the radio telescopes had been picking up something unusual. The sounds were not random noise from space. They had a pattern. They had meaning. His assistant, a young scientist with blue skin, looked worried. "Doctor, should we move the station away from the star?" Kale waved one of his hands. "Not yet. This signal is too important." The signal came from far away, beyond their galaxy. It was old, maybe thousands of years old, but it was also complex, full of mathematics and codes that hurt Kale's brain to think about. Whoever sent this message was very smart, much smarter than Kale's people, and they had been traveling between stars for 10,000 years. On the other side of the galaxy, on a small blue planet called Earth, Dr. Kim Dae-ho was having the same problem. He sat in front of a wall of computer screens in a building in South Korea. The screen showed waves and numbers that danced like living things. Dae-ho had been studying radio signals from space for 20 years, but he had never seen anything like this. "So Young, come look at this," he called to his friend. "Dr. Park." So Young walked over and sat down next to him. She was a language expert who studied how different people talk to each other. If aliens ever sent a message to Earth, So Young would be the person to figure out what it meant. "What am I looking at?" she asked. Daeho pointed at the screen. This came from space 3 hours ago. Look at these patterns. So Young studied the waves on the screen. Her eyes grew wide. This is not natural. Someone made this. That's what I thought too. Daeho called for their other friend. Hyunwoo, you need to see this. Dr. Lee Hyunwoo came running from the other room. He studied the very small parts of matter and energy that made up everything in the universe. If the signal had secrets hidden in physics, he would find them. What's so exciting? Hyunwoo asked. Daeho played the signal again. It was not like music, but it had a rhythm. Inside the rhythm were numbers, and inside the numbers were more complex patterns. Hyunwoo sat down and started typing on his computer. This is incredible. Look here. These patterns match the mathematics we use to describe curved space and time. What does that mean? So Young asked. It means whoever sent this understands the universe better than we do, Hyunwoo said quietly. Back. On the alien space station, Dr. Kale Nockstar had made the same discovery. But he understood more than the humans did. The signal contained coordinates, locations in space where something important was happening. It also contained biological data about different life forms from across the galaxy. Most frightening of all, it contained a warning. Kale called his boss, the station commander. Sir, you need to come to the laboratory right now. Commander Velandra arrived quickly. She was tall and thin with skin that looked like crystal. Her people, the Zephyrians, were one of the oldest races in the galaxy. What is this emergency, Doctor? Kyle played the signal for her. This message was sent by the progenitors. Velandra's crystal skin changed color from blue to dark purple. The progenitors were a legend, a race so advanced that other species worshipped them as gods. They had disappeared 50,000 years ago, leaving behind only ruins and stories. That's impossible, Velandra said. The progenitors are extinct. Yes, they are, but they sent this message before they died. And Commander, the message is a warning about something called the Void Devourers. Velandra had never heard that name before, but it made her feel cold inside. What are Void Devourers? Kale showed her the data he had decoded from the signal. According to this, they are creatures that eat entire star systems. They come every 50,000 years, destroy everything they find, then disappear again. When do they return? Velandra asked, though she already knew the answer would be bad. Soon, Kale said. Very soon. On Earth, the 3 human scientists worked through the night. They could not decode as much as Kale could, but they understood enough to know the message was important. More than important, it was urgent. These coordinates, Daeho said, pointing at his screen. They point to a location outside our galaxy. So Young had been working on the language parts of the message. I think this is a call for help. Someone is asking for aid from other intelligent species. Hyunwoo looked up from his calculations. The energy signatures in this message, they're not just information. They're instructions. Instructions for building something. Building what? Daeho asked. I'm not sure yet, but it involves faster-than-light travel and weapons technology that we can barely understand. The 3 friends looked at each other. They all realized the same thing at the same time. This message was not meant for humanity. Earth's technology was too simple, too basic. The message was meant for advanced civilizations that could travel between galaxies and build weapons from pure energy. But humanity had received it anyway. Around the galaxy, other advanced species had also detected the signal. Most of them recognized it as ancient progenitor technology. They studied it for a few days, decided it was old history, and filed it away in their databases. The humans were different. They could not decode most of the message, but they would not give up. Day after day, more human scientists joined the project. They worked without sleep, surviving on coffee and determination. Dr. Kim Daeho became the leader of what they called the Signal Project. Every day, more pieces of the puzzle fell into place. The message contained star charts, energy formulas, and what looked like blueprints for advanced technology. We're missing something big, So Young said one evening as they worked late in the laboratory. This message feels like a warning, but a warning about what? Hyunwoo had been quiet for hours, working on the mathematical parts of the signal. Finally, he looked up with fear in his eyes. "I think I know what the warning is about," he said quietly. "And I think we're running out of time." Outside, the stars continued to shine, not knowing that somewhere in the darkness, ancient horrors were waking up and starting to move toward the light. The signal had not been meant for humans, but they had received it anyway. And unlike the advanced alien civilizations who filed it away as ancient history, the humans were going to do something. About it, they had no choice. Earth was directly in the path of whatever was coming.